Ivan Katz here at Estero Disc Golf Park down in Florida, and I'm going to be playing the back 9 today, 10 through 18. Look elsewhere for my 1 through 9 video that I shot last year, but this one will be the back 9, and I'm going to show you what I throw, and I'm going to tell you why I throw it. I'll also talk about disc golf and how to play and some intricacies of the game. You'll learn a lot along the way. Let's get started. Well, the short tee over here is 234 feet. This has to be another 100 feet or so. So let's call it maybe 315, close to there. And of course, there's a big water hazard. Now you can go straight across, or you can head around this way and keep it safe. With the forehand flick, I will probably hang over the water a bit and just play it safe and curve back to the right with something overstable. Let's get started. Safe and in control. Overstable to stay away from the water. Okay, so the halo air kept me out of the water and out of danger in a reasonable distance, probably about 150 feet or so from the basket. Number 10, 234 feet. Pretty much straight ahead with a major water hazard on the left. Fortunately, the wind is blowing this way today, so you do get a little help from Mother Nature. Okay, wrapping up number 1, and for both drives from the blue and also the red tees, I use the halo air. Now this for me is an overstable disc, and that means it has a tendency to fade off to the right and not turn over as much. The third number, when you're reading disc numbers, if it's a negative, that means understable. That means it tends to flip or turn over. And if I threw a disc that turned over here, then I might end up in the water. So I made sure to throw an overstable disc. In fact, if you're throwing right hand, backhand in this instance, you do want something understable because you want the disc to turn over. So a disc with a negative third number, -1, -2, -3, -4, that's good because it's going to have a tendency to turn away from the water hazard on the left-hand side for you. So in that case, you want to throw something like a leopard, or you want to throw something like a wahoo, something that floats. That way, if you end up in the water, your disc will float. But I didn't bring a floating disc to Florida. Who knows why? I should have. But in that case, I went ahead and compensated through my overstable halo air, kept it way off to the right in both instances. Now, for my second shot on the farther tee across the water, I went ahead and threw my Crank SS, a very trusty disc, and also there was still a little bit of water in place, so I made sure to give it some hyzer and made sure it stayed to the right because I love my Crank SS. I don't want to lose it in the water. This is one of my favorite discs. Tends to be more stable for me. Started off as understable, now it's old and used, and it's nice and stable. It basically does whatever I want it to do. I can throw it with some anhyzer like that, and you can check out my ace at Bluemont number 1. That way I went around the trees and then it faded back through the beautiful arch of the tree for the ace. Check out that one elsewhere on YouTube. But the Crank SS, love it, and wanted to make sure I protected it this time. So that got me close enough for the par putt from the blue tee with the dart, and the dart is really kind of an approach. It's a 3-4-0-0. 3 being the speed needed to throw it, so it's an easy disc to throw. It does what you want it to do. 4, meaning it has a bit of glide, and 0, 0, meaning that it should not turn over at all, and it should not fade off at the end at all. So therefore, I know that when I threw this disc for that birdie putt, after I threw the halo air from the red tee, just a little bit of anhyzer on my throw, and it straightened out and went right at the basket, kind of went right in. So that's how I use the dart. It's a very accurate disc if you know its tendencies for the way you throw. A strong thrower with a real big arm can probably get this thing to stand up straight the whole way and just have very, very little fade at all. But I wouldn't say I have the strongest arm out there, but I do know my arm, and I know the way these discs behave when I throw them. So that's why I was able to make the long, probably 65-foot putt with the dart, and then the shorter, maybe 17, 18-foot putt with the dart. So there you go. Everyone should have a mid-range in their bag that they can also use as a putter as well. On to number 11. Number 11, you see it just behind that palm branch right there, waving in the wind, and it's 310 feet from here. For me, I can either get away with throwing something overstable this way, or having a turnover S shot come through this way. Let's see. Nice result with the beast here, curved around and through the hazards and sort of around these trees as well, thanks to the S-curve back. Again, this is a understable disc with a third number of -2, 10, 5, -2, 2, and that means it'll give you a nice little turnover S and then fade back. And that's what it did for me here, but I'm still, I don't know, it could be 80 feet away, somewhere in that area. So not an easy birdie. Okay, so another way I went around these trees is just to stay out this way and basically throw something that turns over, stays straight. And that's this Paul Macbeth crate here. 11, 5, -1, and 2. That means it's a control driver. Anything from basically 9, 10, 11s, those are your control fairway drivers. That means you should be able to throw them a good distance under control if you are at least a mid-level player. So don't be dismayed if you can't throw these discs and get them to go straight. Practice, practice, practice. Go out and do a field. Check out my field videos. But this crate here is a great disc that I just got at a used sporting goods store. Good idea to go to those and get some new discs and try them out. Trade them with your friends if you don't like them, and throw your friends discs too. That way you'll figure out which ones are best for you. But if you're having trouble, make sure to decrease that first number. 11, make that first number a 5 or 6 for the disc that you choose. But at any rate, a difficult putt with some palm trees blocking us, and certainly not an easy birdie putt. Probably about 85, 90 feet. Okay, starting out with the beast. 10, 5, -2, and 2. That means that it's a control driver with a speed of 10. If you're a mid-level player, you should be able to throw that. If not, scoot down to maybe a 5, 6, or 7 disc. And control driver means that you should be able to control it pretty well with a mid-level player and above. So, 10 is the speed, 5 is the glide. It's got some good glide to it. And the -2 means the flippiness. That means it should turn over some when you throw it. throw it with some hyzer and power, and it should turn over and S-curve out and fade back. And that's what I did here to get it around the tree hazards, around this way, and then back kind of around this big clump of trees here. Made it sort of around there, giving me a good shot for the birdie with this Crank SS, which is a driver, speed 13. Now, I know what these discs do. I throw them all the time. Don't necessarily listen to the wisdom of others. Yes, usually a shot like that, you should use a mid-range or an approach. But again, I do know how these discs fade, and I know that throwing with a little anhyzer, right-hand, backhand, will let them go ahead and turn and fade back this way, and that's what I use to make that birdie putt there, a very long birdie putt. Now, a word about that. On my second throw, I used the 11, 5, -1, and 2 Paul Macbeth crate. Nobody is coming out here and making 100-foot, 90-foot, 70-foot birdie shots all the time, except maybe Paul Macbeth. So I'm doing a disc golf video here. I'm throwing more than one disc. No one's going to come out here and throw that many birdies. It's not to say I don't throw 60-foot, 100-foot birdies and get aces every now and again. I do. But again, this is a video and I'm showing you what to throw, how they throw, and to do that I use different discs. And of course, I'm not coming out here and getting birdies all the time. No player will, except maybe Paul Macbeth and the other pros. So the crate, I threw it a little bit more flat so that it could just stay straight and make a little curve, and that's basically what it did. It went straight on down the line. This crate is a disc that I just picked up, and I really, really like it. Definitely holds the line very well, and yes, maybe it's got some of that Paul Macbeth magic. Stayed straight, giving me the ability to attempt the crazy kind of sidearm flick birdie putt, and that's what I did with this Viking. This Viking tends to be a very stable disc for me, maybe a little understable. I can get it to turn over, turn left, and the way I do that is I vary the degree of hyzer that I give it. If I throw it flat, it'll probably go straight and then turn a little left because it is a little flippy for me. But I can throw it with a lot of power and a lot of hyzer, and it'll straighten out and just head straight towards where I sent it. And that's a good disc. Discs like that, in other words, if you throw a right-hand backhand with a lot of power and a flippy disc or a stable disc like this Viking, well, it should tend to turn up a bit and just go at your target, or in the case of being a little bit flippy, turn over and then basically head off in the opposite direction. So if you have a dog leg right and you're throwing right hand backhand, you can go ahead and throw it like this, give it some anhyzer, and it should go ahead and make the turn for you. So that's how you use these discs, to get them to do what you want them to do. So there you go, number 11 on to number 12. Number 12, a huge clump of trees blocking the way, and 249 feet. Certainly not easy. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so there you go. Probably about 85-90 feet to the basket, but I did make it through the hazards. And the way you do that, well, don't look at the trees. If you're worried about hitting a tree or a bush or anything else, any other object in play, just don't look at it. Look at the safe area through to the fairway. And then surprisingly, your mind and your muscles will get you there. That's what happened here with the Hex Rakuten. Okay, so wrapping up number 12 here, and I threw the Hex Rakuten with some hyzer, straightened out, got me through the hazard there, and then a reasonable distance up the way. This disc, another one I picked up at a used disc store here. Just says tournament disc, Moccasin Lake Open 2011, Tampa Bay Disc Sports Club. If you know what this disc is, let me know in the comments. But just threw it with a little bit of snap and let it just S around straight towards the basket, leaving me an easy drop in for par. So there you go. Don't look at obstacles. Look at safe areas like the fairway, and you will succeed. On to the next one. Number 13, and you can see it's straight ahead off to the left there. No need to tease the water here. Being that I'm a forehand flicker, I'm going to stay far out this way and just let the disc come around, hopefully right at the basket. But the wind is coming straight back towards us, so that could be tough. Okay, wrapping up number 13 here. The Banshee, a very straight throwing disc. This one well worn in, well used. Picked it up at a used disc store down here, and just very, very true. Throw it straight and it'll go straight. Give it a little anhyzer and it'll turn. So same for right hand, backhand players. So just like the Banshee, throw it with some anhyzer and it should stay the line and just turn right for you. Or vice versa, throw it like this, and it should just turn left for you. So it's a good dog leg disc, also a good disc to run. Speaking of running, I did not run with my 86 putter here. This putter is from 1990, and it's pretty rare, and I don't want to lose it. So I just laid it up right under the basket for the easy drop-in. No reason to get greedy when you're near a water hazard and the wind's swirling. Play conservative. Keep your discs in your bag, or get something that floats like a wahoo. On to the next one. Hole 14, kind of uphill and across the berm here. So it's always more difficult to go uphill, even though it says 240. If it's uphill, it plays more like 300. Nice result with the beast here, up and through the sort of terrain here. And I'm just about outside the circle. Circle is 33 feet, 10 meters. Outside of that area, you can jump putt. I'm not a jump putter, so I'm just going to putt it the regular way, hopefully for the birdie. Okay, so nice little shot with the beast, and then wrapped it up with a nice little putt just outside of the circle with the dart. On to the next one. Number 15. Ooh, quite windy out here. 252 feet with some trees in the way, and the cart path is out of bounds. Okay, great result with the halo air. About 12 feet away, and got around all the obstacles quite well. But it's a windy day, so it's quite tricky out here. Okay, number 15, the halo air got me throwing around the hazards with this nice overstable flight path, and then the easy putt that I made in the car with my 86 putter because of the really windy conditions today. There you have it. On to the next one. Well, this looks like fun. Number 16, 303 feet from the top of this beast of a hill. So here you can see how beautiful this Estero Park is, and quite windy it is too today. 303 feet, straight ahead. Okay, not a bad shot with the Hex Rakuten to just outside the circle. Tough putt up on top of the hill there. Let's see what we can do. Okay, so the Hex Rakuten thrown into the wind and the wind took it and got it down just outside of the circle, 10 meters, 33 feet outside of that area. You can jump putt and the birdie putt with the dart. Not successful this time, right off the edge of the basket, but oh well, that's disc golf. You win some and you lose some. On to the next one. Number 17, straight across the field and 296 feet. Okay, the Innova Banshee. Again outside the circle, probably about 55, 60 feet. Straight up the hill for the birdie putt. Tough. Okay, number 17, started off with the Banshee. And again, the Banshee is a disc that I actually do keep in my bag regularly. It's just a straight shooter, a very good control driver approach. You can use it for anything. You can play the whole course with it. So I saw the opportunity at a used disc store here to get another one, and I took it. This one's beaten up, beaten in, and that's the way I like them. That means they're broken in, they throw consistently, and don't shy away from DX plastic. Some of my favorite discs are DX plastic plus for beginners. It's cheaper. There you go. And then my birdie putt, nope, didn't make it, but still a good run with my 86 putter here. On to the last one here at Estero, number 18 on top of the hill. Okay, I'll play number 18 from up here because it looks fun and dangerous. Not thrilled about that though. I'll play it very conservatively. But anyway, there you go. Number 18, 333 feet. What a view. Okay, so the Halo Air, probably out of bounds, honestly, on the cart path here just a bit, but I'm still going to play it because I'm not re-throwing because there's a water hazard, and I did my best with this overstable disc to avoid it. So I'm going to throw up a safe putt here to try to get close to the basket, nothing crazy, to finish out the round. Okay, so finishing out number 18 there, very safely with the Halo Air and my 86 putter. And there you have it, the back nine at Estero, beautiful disc golf course here in Southwest Florida. Go to used disc stores, get some discs to mess around with that aren't too expensive. DX plastic is okay if you're a beginner. Check out my other videos for more tips. Don't forget to check out 1 through 9 here at Estero, elsewhere on YouTube. Subscribe to me, follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You see my Porsche 911 shirt. I have 2 Porsche 911s. Check out my car reviews as Drivin Ivan, elsewhere on YouTube, and my documentaries, Real Poker, Real Reality, about poker, and of course Reality TV, and my literal video for Chris Isaac's Wicked Game, and my many music videos out there. Thanks for watching. I'm Ivan Katz.